I'm Bill DeFoi, and welcome to In the Community. We're up at the beautiful Spanish Hills Country Club in Camarillo, California, and I've got two very lovely ladies, and we've been attending the breakfast for the empowerment breakfast, Women of Influence. And I've got Sabelli and I've got Vanessa here. And so I'm going to start with Sabelli. You were a participant in today's event. Kind of give us an overall view as to what took place today.
It was a really great event. There's lots of women just empowering us, especially in the focus of being a Latina woman, to be able to hear women that have some power in the community, that also too were able to balance their family life with their culture and their business life all together. It was just really an amazing event.
And Vanessa, what was your role in today's event?
So I was a panelist, and what I brought to the table was how to balance work life as a woman, as a mother. It's very challenging, and so I was here to bring tips and tricks to help with the working mom and some of those struggles that we face every day.
So as a working mother, what kind of advice would you have to other women that are in the boat that you've been in?
You have to be a little bit selfish and give yourself a little bit of time. We are constantly devoting our time to others, our family, our work, and we very often neglect our own self. Give yourself 10 minutes, 20 minutes if you can, not on the TV. TV is not going to help you relax and decompress. You need 10 to 15, 20 minutes if you could of relaxation. Go for a walk, play with your kids outside, do a little exercising, but something where it's going to prevent you from thinking about work and thinking of all the other stresses and everything else that we have to do. You need to have time to refuel so you can continue to give.
In being a single parent, what has been the biggest advantage or the disadvantage for you?
Well, I've been fortunate that I have a supportive husband who watches the kids so I can go out and have some fun and go for hikes. But many times I work out at 5 o'clock in the morning. I like to make sure that I'm up early because I'm able to work out at home. And as I'm working out at home, I'm throwing in laundry, I'm throwing in clothes in the dryer, I'm getting the eggs boiling for breakfast. So I'm able to kind of multitask and do all of those things. It's a balancing act, but again, you have to find the time that works for you and works for your schedule.
Wonderful. Now, Sabelli, you attended today's event and you've listened to Vanessa and some of the other panelists. Of all the panelists that were speaking today and with the guest speaker that was speaking earlier, what was your biggest takeaway?
I would say my biggest takeaway was really to take care of me. If I don't take care of me, I'm not going to be able to be there for my family or even for my employers. So really it was about getting myself back, and it's not a selfish thing. In a Latina family, you grow up to give everybody everything, especially being the oldest of 5. I learned that I had to be the one that provided for everybody else, and I was always the last. So what I took away today was that I can be the number one and take care of me and still be okay, So.
This is for both of you really, because you're both Latinas. What have you found in your life to be perhaps a challenge that has come along your way in your growth, development, maybe your professional life that you've been able to overcome?
I would say I was very fortunate that in the area that I grew up in, that I didn't really see my being a Latina hold me back, which I was really grateful. Where now we're being in this community here in Oxnard and working in this area where I see a lot of women, Latinas, where they have that mentality to be held back. Luckily, I grew up in a home where my family always said, you can do, and we didn't have that culture barrier of like, you're Latina, so you can't go for those jobs, or you're Latina, so you have to stay here and clean house or do everything. So I was very fortunate that I was actually pursued to become in the business world and never really had that mindset.
And that's probably very good not to have those barriers, because that could be a stereotype thing, could it not?
Yes, definitely. And I'm really grateful that I didn't have that typical stereotype mentality.
All right, so same questions for you, Vanessa. In being somebody of the Latina heritage. What has been the biggest obstacle for you to overcome to be now successful?
I actually, because of my fair skin, people didn't know what I was. Are you Latina? Are you not Latina? So I wasn't dark enough or Mexican enough, if you would, and I wasn't white enough for the Americans. So I was kind of in this mishmash. And it kind of took me to realize that's okay, because I know who I am and I know in my heart where my culture is and where my heart belongs. So I had to kind of grow and find that within my own self and define myself as, yes, I am Latina, despite right now I'm tanned, I came back from vacation, but but I am fair. And even when we were in Mexico, they said, oh, your wife, she's not Latina.
But you definitely are. All right, ladies, Sabella and Vanessa, I thank you both, and thank you for joining us right here on In the Community, a production of the Heritage Media Group.